Hi, I'm Sam. Welcome to my channel, and today I'm going to talk to you about some of the incredible benefits about joining the British Army. And I am going to start off with career development and training. So, in the British Army, you will receive world class training in a wide variety of skills, whether that could be leadership, teamwork, or obviously technical expertise if you are going to decide to go down that route. The army will provide you with opportunities to gain really good qualifications and certifications. Also, what it can do, which I think is the best thing about the British Army, is no matter what qualifications that you start off with, you can go right the way to the top within the British Army. So you could go into the British Army, join infantry, or join intelligence corps. And regardless of the qualifications, if you only go in there with really low GCSEs, you can still finish your army career as a warrant officer class 1, top of the non-commissioned officer tree. Or, of course, if you then decide to go on and get your degree or a master's or do any other types of qualifications, you could then commission and become an officer. And it does not matter what you go in as. Everyone starts off the same as a private, the lowest rank, but it is there. The benefits are there in the army for you to go all the way to the top and get a really good pension at the end. So I think for me, that's probably one of the major benefits about joining the British Army is that no matter where you start, you can finish at the very top of your tree and even commission as an officer. Number two, health and well-being. So serving in the army means you'll have access to lots of free medical and free dental care. That's great. But you'll also benefit from the structured physical training programs that are in place and the awesome fitness facilities that are at most camps at this moment in time. So some people go into the army to get fit. Some people go into the army who are fit already. And some people decide not to go into the army because they think they won't have access to gymnasiums, or because they're in a structured PT regime at the minute, they won't be able to continue it. When you start basic training, you won't. But when you get to your working unit, you will have access to the gym at the end of the working day. Or if you want to get fit, they will put on really good structured PT sessions. PT is evolving all the time within the military, and gone are the days of the 5 mile steady state runs, and now they're doing lots of things like CrossFit style training, learning to do those compound movements to give you that core stability and core strength when you are then going on your tabbing marches with heavy weight in your backpacks. They build you up and you can get into really good shape in the army. And plus from that as well, you can then take part in a lot of events. The army really does kind of push forward fitness, obviously, but also they like people to go away to do fitness events and represent the army. So you will have core athletics event, you'll have unit athletic events, you'll have squadron, troop, personal. It's the amount that you can do within the British Army with regards to fairs is unbridled to any other workforce that you are going to be in. So that's a real key benefit for me was the health and well-being part within the British Army. Number three is job stability and security. Now, this does come with a little caveat, okay? The army does, on occasion, make redundancies, but they generally will only offer redundancies to those people who are just not making it and they are not following their career line progression. That's generally what happens with regards to redundancies in the British Army. So if you're a 14-year corporal, that means you are not doing the secondary duties or you're not performing in the workplace in order at that point where you should be pushing for staff sergeant or colour sergeant. So if you do join the army, and you follow that career line progression where you're getting promoted every 3 to 5 years, you probably will not be part of any redundancy package. Or if they are perhaps looking at making redundant certain job roles, if you are good at your role, they will offer you another trade to go into. So the job security and stability is there. Also, during COVID, everyone got paid, no one was made redundant. So that is another good point with regards to your job stability and security. During COVID, we all got paid exactly the same. It was absolutely no problems, but you knew you were going to get paid. You weren't worrying about whether the army was going to pay you like those people on Civvy Street. So that job security and stability is also a great reason to join the military. Number four, housing and family support. So, as a member of the British Army, you and your family will have access to subsidized accommodation and comprehensive support services, from childcare to education and welfare services. Now, if you are married or if you have a partner and you both look after a child, you will be entitled to subsidized housing. Some of the houses aren't great. Some of the houses are pretty great, but that then depends on how much you're willing to pay at some bases. Some bases, all the houses are terrible, but then you are only going to pay around £200 in total for perhaps a 3-bedroom house, which is pretty phenomenal if you look at Civvy Street. Other houses that you may get when you go into other camps that are building newer houses now, it could be anything up to £400 or £500 per month for a 3-bedroom house. But that is still way cheaper than Civvy Street. Off the back of that as well, you'll have the welfare services, and also the army will pay a lot towards your child's private education. That does come with caveats. Which I won't go into now because there are a lot of them, but the army will pay 90% towards your children's private education. My children did it for 3 years and it was pretty amazing, but they do have to board, so they do have to stay overnight in that school. But with regards to housing, welfare, family support, the army can be pretty good with that. So that's another benefit of joining the army if you're sitting on the fence at this moment in time. Number five, technological and innovation exposure. So you will work with cutting edge technology and equipment, and that is also, though, depending on what trade that you're going to go into. But what I'll say is this: you will work with some amazing bits of technology and equipment, but not only that, you'll get exposure to other countries' technological equipment, and some of theirs is just fantastic, especially if you go on exercise or doing operations with the American Army, or if you go with any other of the EU armies that are around, you will get to see all of their equipment and you'll be able to utilize some of that equipment as well. Some of the stuff that I worked on, I can possibly imagine working on at this moment in time. Now I've retired. The experiences I had with other countries' equipment, the Ukrainians, the Americans, worked with the Danish, the Swiss. Some of their equipment is just phenomenal, as are ours. But I think that if you do want to see more, if you are that way inclined with regards to technology, you will have some great exposure as you progress through your career. So that's 5 real benefits about joining the British Army. And I think you can unlock a lot of opportunities if you do decide to join the army. Now, some people decide to join and realize it's not for them, but it really does not hurt just giving it a go, seeing how you feel, and you never know, you might even really surprise yourself with some of the things that you manage to achieve throughout your career. If you do have any questions, please just ask, and I always try and get back to them all. like and subscribe. Take care. See you soon.